Good evening. My name is Shelagh Connelly, and I'm here this evening with my business partner Charley Hanson. And Charley and I own a company called Resource Management, and we are the tail end of this story. Everyone has spoken very eloquently tonight about the logging operations and the costs and the power produced. Well, we are the very end of that story, and that is the wood ash recycling that happens at these power plants. And I have just a couple of little baggies here tonight I want to share with any of the elected officials who are here. This is wood ash from the power plants. We recycle 100% of the wood ash produced at all 4 of the power plants that are being discussed tonight. And in fact, my first job out of college 25 years ago was soil sampling on farm fields for farmers who've been using wood ash all this time. And it was 6 years after that that Charley and I started our own company, and we had the privilege of signing our very first contract with Bridgewater Power. And so wood ash recycling has been a big part of my life, and if these 4 plants go away, it'll have a big impact on our company. We're located in Holderness, New Hampshire, and we recycle not only wood ash, but also biosolids from the city of Concord and Nashua. We also recycle short paper fiber from some of the paper mills, in fact, the remaining 2 paper mills here in New Hampshire. And so for us, it's a big part of the story is that there are 2 products that come out of these power plants, electricity and wood ash. And wood ash is a really neat story because it provides both fertilizer for farm fields, but also does something really neat with a synergy with wastewater treatment plants, and it helps to produce a final fertilizer product from treatment plants that you wouldn't be able to do without the wood ash anymore. So for us, we are very concerned about the immediate impact of our little company. We employ 25 people year-round with full benefits, and we think that's a really great thing to do in the North Country. And we don't want to see this kind of synergy go away. If these plants close, we will need to lay off 4 full-time equivalents and sell one of our trucks and lose a driver. And those are real people working in New Hampshire. We don't want to see that happen. The other piece of this is that when the whole wood-fired power plant industry was born in New Hampshire, it was looked at as not just being, is it cost-effective, lowest price power. It was looked at as something good for New Hampshire, not only for clean, green local power, but for stability and for offering a power source that has a ripple effect. And the ripple effect is really what the loggers are about, and the Napa Auto Parts people who service, who provide parts, and the people who repair the equipment, and the diners that you eat in, and the movie theaters that you go to. All of this ripple effect will be affected if we lose this power. So it's really important to help get the word out to people who are unaware that this industry even exists, and ask them to support keeping this alive through creative solutions. We don't have all the answers for how to have these power plants stay open, but I sure hope that folks in the Senate can step up to the plate and educate some of the folks in the House, and we can see something move forward with the RPS program going into its next level of change, as well as just recognizing that PS&H isn't the enemy. PS&H is someone that we need to work with, and they provide 70% of our power distribution, so it seems like we can partner somehow to make this work. Charley's going to talk a little bit about some of the direct impacts with our farmers and what that means for them.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm sort of the numbers guy. Sheila's the mouthpiece, so I'll cut to the chase. I am also a farmer. I farm on the side, and wood ash, I've used wood ash for over 20 years. Like a lot of other people, a couple that are here, Dave Herrick, you've used it for many years. John Amy from Pittsburgh has used it. He was making his own. He was burning these piles of wood out back, and he finally found an easier way, I guess. But anyway, the wood ash program is a really neat story. It's sort of what we call the queen of the residuals that we manage, and that With the power plants we work with, we're very fortunate because it's a very different attitude. If you go to other power plants like a coal plant, coal ash is a big headache. It's a really big headache if you go across the country and you look at what they do with coal ash. Here in New Hampshire, the power plants that we work with see that as another product, and they know that it's got value and they take it seriously, and they create a good wood ash product that when a farmer goes to spread it, it's going to work well, and it's going to go through their spreader, and it's not going to have a bunch of chunks in it. Or if we have a compost facility using it, that's going to be free of chunks and not have trash in it and that sort of thing. If you look at these 4 power plants, I separate them out. The ones that go into the farm program, there are 3 of them: Alexandria, Pine Tree Bethlehem, and Pine Tree Tamworth. And there's a reason for that, and I'll explain it in a second. Those are great sources. Those ashes are excellent sources of lime and potassium fertilizer, a little bit of phosphorus, and then a number of micronutrients. The value of those components alone to New Hampshire farms is about $600,000 a year, just under that. That's a lot of money when you're a farmer who can get these items that if you had to go out and buy commercial fertilizer, when you're already struggling with high feed costs, high energy costs, just those 2 things alone. If you have high fertilizer costs too, it can be the difference between making it and breaking it. The other ash, Bridgewater Power, is a different ash because of the way they run their boiler. It's what we call a high carbon ash. It doesn't have as good an agricultural value, but it's an excellent material for controlling odor. And you think, well, what's the big deal with odor? Well, you stink out somebody's barbecue on July 4th, and it can be a real problem, which happened in Dover, New Hampshire, back about 19 years ago with a bunch of houses that today are worth, I would guess, $2 million a piece. That shut down their facility. They were composting their sludge, is what it was. Ever since then, that we started working with them using Bridgewater wood ash, they've never had an odor complaint from their compost facility. A similar thing happened over, almost identical, in Claremont, New Hampshire. If those facilities weren't able to access cost-effective wood ash to compost their solids, they would have to do one of 2 things. They would either have to spend a tremendous amount of money to invest in in capital, basically, to build some gigantic warehouse that's totally enclosed to control the odor, or do something extensive along those lines, or ship it out to landfill, which is about 3 times the cost of their current composting. So these are real trickle-down dollar values that affect our industry greatly. Also, throw in one last thing I just want to mention. In terms of as we get removed from actual producer to, say, the guy you buy tires from, I think that's a really important outlet. I just, last week, bought a trailer, and I was talking with the guy we were financing it with, and I said, hey, right now I'm buying this trailer. It's a belt trailer, a Trinity belt trailer. And I said, if these plants close, I was thinking about buying another one later this year, but there's no way. If anything, I'm going to be selling equipment. He went right home. We gave him a letter. We have the blog, New Hampshire Biomass. But we gave him a letter. He sent one right out. Then he called his nephew, made his nephew send one. His nephew's girlfriend, she ended up sending one. It's got that build effect, so make sure you get after those people you do business with. They're usually more than willing to help. Thanks.